So we've heard a lot about the use of agile methods in the industry today, and if you've only heard the 10 or 15-minute version of that, it would be hard to imagine that a large-scale embedded system with a 10-year time horizon and billions of dollars in funding could ever really make use of these methods. And in fact, we're finding people making good use of the concepts behind agile, and so we're talking in a number of different presentations about scaling agile, making it work for a fairly different kind of project than you might have heard about if you heard the NPR story or the 15-minute version of what agile methods are about. So folks will walk away with real experience from others who are doing this and how they make it work with a larger, longer time horizon than you might hear from the 7 plus or minus 2 people doing Scrum updating a web page, which is the easy example to explain these concepts. But the much more challenging environments in which these things are being used really are seeing some of the benefits that we're looking for. And it all traces back to the Agile Manifesto. And so there's some very interesting things to talk about in terms of how we interpret the Agile Manifesto in the kind of context we're talking about here.
The idea behind Tactical Cloudlets is to make capabilities that are usually available in the big data centers in the cloud, to make them available at the edge, close to the people that are actually going to use the capabilities. So, for example, before a mission, before a deployment, before a field exercise, someone would provision the Cloudlet with all the capabilities that are needed and then take it out into the field. What this allows is people, for example, with mobile devices to interact with this capability without having to be connected to the enterprise. Now, in the case that there is a connection to the enterprise, whether it's constant or it's intermittent, you can imagine a cloudlet using these windows of connectivity to sync back to the enterprise, for example. So in essence, the idea is basically that, to be able to take capabilities that are available in data centers and put them closer to the user.
Most people are concerned about how complex software is getting to be and software systems are getting to be. And what they'll learn is, what do we mean by complex? Complexity is a very strange word. Everybody uses it, but nobody actually defines it. What we've discovered in working with one of our clients is that it's basically defined by 2 things: the things that cause it, the causes of complexity, and the effect that it has on people, or the effects of complexity. So we will be talking about what many of these causes are and what many of the effects are. In addition, everybody wants to reduce complexity, and that is indeed the right thing to do, but how do you do it intelligently? You can't reduce the complexity of the system so much that you allocate all the complexity to the operator, and you can't allocate none of the complexity to the operator either, because that just turns them into burger flippers. So what is best done by a person versus done by complex software, and how can you make that the most reliable and problem-free as you can?
So we are working directly with program managers who are faced with a challenge of a development organization coming to them saying, we're using Agile. And the contractor, the contracting office and the program office on the other side of this conversation often wonders, what does that really mean for me? What should I do differently? How can I get the benefit of this? Those sorts of folks who are facing that challenge, I think, will get the most out of a number of the presentations we're doing. But I think for a wider audience just generally interested in what Agile looks like, you're going to get a different view from what these folks are doing of what Agile looks like than you might have seen elsewhere.
The ideal attendee is basically anybody that wants to learn about Cloudlets. It can be, for example, a manager that wants simply to know about the concept, but it also could be a technical person, because hopefully I'll be able to include a lot of technical material, the architecture of the system, of different protocols, the different technologies that we've used in the implementation of Tactical Cloudlets.
I'm picturing agency analysts or people who really want to think about what this problem is that they have and how to make it most reliable for the future, most robust to problems, both systems and software aspects of that. I'm also thinking of project managers, since they're the ones that will have to do the risk management on the project, and they should understand what risks complexity will bring.
So the belief among some people about Agile methods is that they forsake documentation, they forsake architecture in favor of some sort of misguided desire for improvisation. And any government organization looking at potentially spending billions of dollars on a software-dependent system really wouldn't welcome such an influence. And so understanding what it really means to do well with agile methodologies in the context of a larger system, that's a pain point for a lot of people who are nervous about what they're hearing. And the people who are going to be speaking about the examples, and we're going to be speaking about the examples we're seeing, that'll give you some different insights, some different stories to tell about what it means to do agile.
The pain point is being to provide capabilities in the field. And when I say in the field, well, usually you can imagine the military first responders, which are our direct stakeholders, but you can also imagine medics in the field that are trying to provide medical assistance to someone. You can imagine field researchers, somebody that's gathering data in the field and needs somewhere to be able to access capabilities or to be able to store data as it is collected. So just basically people in the field that need capabilities and cannot rely, for example, on a stable connection to the enterprise.
One of the effects of complexity is basically confusion. And so I want to help them understand what it means and so that they can address particularly managing the risks that complexity causes in an orderly fashion so that they will be able to know what they have a real handle on and what needs a little bit more work.
Oh, that's that's a tough one. There are different sessions I'm involved in, and my co-presenters really have a broad reach across some experiences relating to Agile. And so Suzanne Miller, Marianne Lapham, they will be presenting. They each have a session with me, but you should look for them in the hallway. They have a really great collection of stories for how Agile methodologies work in the context of DoD programs.
I would like to attend. There are, well, all of them, of course, but the two main sessions I would like to attend are my colleague Jeff Bowling is going to be presenting some of his work on what they call information superiority to the edge, which has to do also with mobile technologies, but being able to share contextual information between, for example, mobile devices in the field and to make decisions that benefit the group. That session I would like to attend. The other session is going to be by Bill Anderson, and it's focusing on Edge Analytics, a platform that they've been able to use to support a lot of events that have to do with civil response, and to be able to, for example, to analyze Twitter data and in a matter of seconds, as opposed to days, be able to determine or find out if a certain topic is trending or if there are alerts, information that, for example, first responders or authorities should be looking for. So I'm looking forward to those two sessions.
Well, I heard Philip Koopman talking once at the SEI about what happened when Toyota was hit with a huge lawsuit and payout for presumably unsafe software. And I'm very interested in safety in software because I think that and also security in software are two big holes that we know are there and we haven't really solved how to find them. I'm working on safety with a client of mine that's doing complexity, and I'm very interested in that. And second, there are a couple presentations on systems of systems architecting that I'm also very interested because, as you might have guessed, those are also complex systems and they will have to have certain properties like safety and security as well.